All right, try that again. Good evening, everyone. Now my microphone is all turned on and ready to roll. Hope you guys are having a good evening out there on this Wednesday, and it's another edition of StormTracker 9 Jeopardy. Hope you enjoyed that music. I thought that it would be nice to add a little music to listen to while I was finishing up the final touches on the broadcast. So that artist was, I think he pronounces it Shallow. And I'm not sure how you say it exactly, but he's a lot of his proceeds from his work goes to a lot of environmental friendly causes and stuff like that. So just kind of a cool artist to listen to. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. But today we're playing some more Jeopardy. I got the comments over here down to my left, so I'll be keeping an eye on that. And yeah, you guys ready? Let's get started. Our categories today for StormTracker 9 Jeopardy: Who's That Scientist? Space History, Weather and Sports. I'm going to test your sports and weather trivia knowledge here a little bit. And last but not least, historic storms. So let me know in the comments which category y'all want to go through first. First comment that I see, that's the first one that we'll do. And let me know in the comments which one is going to be the first category. First comment I see, we'll go right into it. Which one do you guys want first? Weather and sports. 2 comments right off the top for weather and sports. All right, so we'll do weather and sports first, then we'll do Who's That Scientist, and then we'll go from there. So weather and sports for 200. Wow, that's a lot of you guys commenting weather and sports. All right, let's get right into it. This should be fun. Here we go. The $200 question. In 1967, the Dallas Cowboys played in the NFL Championship. Game time temperature was minus 15 degrees Fahrenheit, and the game became quickly known as the Ice Bowl. Which city was this played in? In 1967, the Dallas Cowboys played in the NFL Championship. The game time temperature was minus 15 degrees Fahrenheit, and the game became known as the Ice Bowl, which was played in this city. What city was this in? All you Cowboys fans out there, I hope you guys know this one. All right, Anthony Franz ringing in. Also, Casey ringing in with the answer. Green Bay. Ding, ding, ding. It must have been freezing cold. I also think that was Vince Lombardi's last championship with Green Bay. Dallas went on to actually lose that game. I guess Green Bay had some home field advantage there with all those cold temperatures. All right, the $400 weather and sports question. In 2002, Oakland Raiders and the New England Patriots played in a snow-filled game. Now, Oakland fans thought Tom Brady fumbled, but officials ruled the ball incomplete, leading to this infamous rule. In 2002, the Oakland Raiders and the New England Patriots played in a snow-filled game. Oakland fans thought that Tom Brady fumbled, but officials ruled the ball incomplete, leading to this infamous rule. One of the more famous games, I think, in NFL history. Does anyone know the name of this rule? Down by contact, that's a good guess, but incorrect, Casey. Yeah, Charlie, the tuck rule. Charlie Garner. I'm refreshing my comments over here because I know that sometimes they can get laggy, but Charlie Garner, the first one, ringing in that correct answer, the tuck rule. That was a big one way back then. Weather and sports for 600. Here we go. In 2017, a AAA game between the Salt Lake Bees and the Omaha Storm Chasers, a strong gust of wind caused the Salt Lake pitcher to flinch. The umpires called this rule, which allowed the runners on base to advance. Sylvia also tuning in with the tuck rule on that last one. My grandma says she didn't know, but go Hawks. Go Hawks, Grandma. In a 2017 AAA game between the Salt Lake Bees and the Omaha Storm Chasers, a strong gust of wind caused the Salt Lake pitcher to flinch. Umpires called this rule, which allowed the runners on base to advance. Bach, yeah, y'all ringing in with the correct answer. That is a true story. There's actually a video out there on the internet. I believe it might have been Bleacher Report who wrote an article about this. But yeah, the wind was so strong it caused the pitcher to balk and the runners on base advanced. So kind of funny. Also funny that the Omaha Storm Chasers is the team name. I think that's just kind of a perfect weather story there. A lot of you guys ringing in with the correct answer of a balk. So nicely done. Weather and sports for 800. In 1950, Michigan State battled Ohio State for their annual rivalry game. This game saw a whopping 45 punts and over a foot of snow fell in this city. Where was this game played? In 1950, Michigan battled Ohio State for the annual rivalry game. This game saw a whopping 45 punts as over a foot of snow fell in this city. 45 punts. That must have been just so painful to watch. I think the final score of this game was 9-3. So I don't know even how they even kicked field goals in that. I mean, that's just, all right, we got the right state. We got the right state. From Casey says Ohio, but I have not seen the correct city yet. I'm not trying to trick you. Traverse City and Ann Arbor. Sorry, those are both incorrect. Does anyone have a correct guess here? Did I stump you guys? Rodolfo says he doesn't know anything. Did I stump you? Columbus. There we go. I knew somebody would come up with it. There we go. Columbus, Ohio. Yeah, that must have been a brutal game to watch. Ooh, 45 punts. That's almost every other possession. Must have been like every other possession. Here we go. The $1,000 question. Most famous for Luis Gonzalez's walk-off base hit. Game 7 of the 2001 World Series was interrupted in the 7th inning by this kind of storm that is unique to dry climates. Most famous for Luis Gonzalez's walk-off home run, or what? Not walk-off home run, walk-off base hit. Game 7 of the 2001 World Series was interrupted in the 7th inning by this kind of storm that is unique to dry climates. There we go. Yeah, it was a dust storm. Could you imagine? You're at Game 7 of the World Series and a dust storm rolls in, and then apparently after the dust storm, it started raining, which you wouldn't think in Anthony Haboob. Yeah, Haboob dust storm. Y'all are getting it. I couldn't imagine like getting a dust storm and then rain when they were playing this game in Arizona. It's not supposed to be like that. All right. What was the next category y'all wanted? A lot of weather and sports. Rodolfo wanted Who's That Scientist? So that's what we're going into right now. Who's that scientist for 200? This scientist is most famous for the theory of general relativity as well as the mass energy equivalence formula, E equals mc squared. Who is that scientist? This scientist is most famous for the theory of general relativity as well as the mass energy equivalence formula E equals mc squared. Yeah, there we go. All right. Hope this one wasn't too much of a stumper. I forgot to share this stream to my Facebook page. Let's do that right now. I see a couple, I see one Einstein. And yeah, it was indeed Albert Einstein. Not me. If I had come up with E equals mc squared, well, I don't know what I would have done if I had come up with E equals mc squared, but I'm not that smart. All right, here we go. $400 question. Knighted by Queen Anne in 1705, this English mathematician is famous for inferring that the Earth is a sphere as well as his 3 laws of motion. I can't read tonight. Knighted by Queen Anne in 1705, this English mathematician is famous for inferring that the Earth is a sphere as well as his 3 laws of motion. So if you took a physics class in high school, I hope you guys get this one. His 3 laws are pretty famous. Hey, Noah Rodriguez ringing in the right answer first here on my comment stream. Good one. Yeah, Isaac Newton. Yeah. Charlie getting it, Anthony getting that one. Yeah, y'all are smart cookies. That was Sir Isaac Newton. Remember, he was knighted. It's kind of cool. The $600 Who's That Scientist question. Born in Marshfield, Missouri, this famous astronomer proved the existence of additional galaxies beyond the Milky Way, and he also has a famous telescope named after him that is orbiting the Earth as we speak. Born in Marshfield, Missouri, this famous astronomer proved the existence of additional galaxies beyond the Milky Way, and he also has a famous telescope named after him that is orbiting the Earth as we speak. Rodolfo chiming in, Edward Hubble. We got Steve tuning in. He says Hubble. Steve and Tammy tuning in. He says Hubble. Yeah, y'all are right on the nose. It's actually Edwin Hubble, but close enough. And yeah, here's one of those pictures taken from the Hubble telescope. The Hubble telescope just celebrated its 30th birthday. So happy birthday to the Hubble telescope. Some of the most amazing pictures we've seen from that thing. My uncle tuning in. How's it going, Uncle? So fun story. Might as well tell it. My sister had a tough time saying Jason, so when she was a little toddler, it just came out as Hebo, and so for the entirety of our lives, we've been calling him Uncle Hebo, even though his real name is Jason, since we were like 1 and 3 or 2 and 4, something like that. So funny story. All right, here we go. The $800 question. Picked to be one of 3 black students to integrate West Virginia's graduate schools, this scientist is most famous for her work on Friendship 7, which sent John Glenn into orbit around the Earth. Picked to be one of 3 black students to integrate West Virginia's graduate schools, this scientist is most famous for her work on Friendship 7, which sent John Glenn into orbit around the Earth, the first manned mission that we sent into orbit from the United States. This one's a little bit trickier, kind of a tougher name to remember. She also did a lot more work with NASA and even had a movie come out about her in the past couple of years. So who's that scientist? Noah says he's blanking. Rodolfo says, know the movie, no idea who she is. Did I stump you guys? All right. I might have stumped you. The answer is Katherine Johnson. And she actually passed away at the age 101 back in February. And some of her math work was instrumental not only in sending satellites and missions into Earth's orbit, but also sending missions to the moon. So a big player for NASA for many years, and just kind of a pioneer for women getting into STEM. So if you haven't seen that movie, that's called Hidden Figures, and I cannot recommend that enough. It's a great movie. All right, the $1,000 question. Maybe that should have been the $1,000 question. That was a tough one. Anthony cheated. Oh, I missed your comment, Anthony. All right, famous for sending the first physical messages into space, this astronomer was also known for his 1980 TV series called Cosmos, A Personal Voyage. Anthony is a scientist, no fair. Oprah Winfrey, I don't believe, was a scientist. Famous for sending the first physical messages into space, this astronomer was also known for his 1980 series called Cosmos, A Personal Voyage. Any takers? Dylan Smith. Dylan Smith was alive in 1980. That's news to me. Guess these $800 and $1,000 questions are a little tougher. Give you guys a few more seconds here. There we go. My uncle got it. Well, spelt his last name wrong, but close enough. Yeah, there we go. Carl Sagan. All right, since we've been talking a lot about space here. Yeah, I know, I have a leg. So we've been talking about space here. Let's stick with it and let's go into space history for 200. This mission saw the first human walk on the surface of the moon. Probably the most famous NASA mission, or maybe one of the most famous. All right, we got some Apollos. Do y'all know the number? You're on the right track. Give it to you. I'd say close but no cigar on this one. Do y'all know the number? Noah with a solid guess, but no. Charlie with the correct answer. Apollo 11, one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. 40 because 40 is fabulous. Okay. All right, and this is why I needed the specific number there, because this mission to the moon went awry 2 days into the journey, leading to the famous but not quite accurate quote, "Houston, we have a problem." This mission to the moon went awry 2 days into the journey, leading to the famous but not quite accurate. Quote, Houston, we have a problem. Yeah, y'all are getting this one. Great movie too, right? Fantastic movie. Apollo 13. The actual quote was, they had to say it twice. They radioed in and they said, Houston, we've had a problem. And then Houston radioed back and said, repeat, and they radioed back again, Houston, we've had a problem. So not quite the famous quote that everyone kind of says. So funny story there a little bit. Officially known as the Space Transportation System, most of us know this spacecraft by a more common name. I gave you a nice, easy photo to help you out here. I don't know if that's how that works. I don't think I can get my brains from my uncle. I don't know. Maybe that's how that works. Yeah, y'all are getting it. Lots of shuttles. Yeah, the space shuttle. That was the last time Americans sent people into space from the U.S., but that's about to change less than a month from now with SpaceX and NASA launching astronauts to the International Space Station on May 27th. So can't wait for that. Speaking of SpaceX, only launching for the first time in 2010, this reusable SpaceX rocket is now the most used rocket on the market today. And if you watched the live stream last week of the launch, hopefully you know the name. Launching only for the first time in 2010, this reusable SpaceX rocket is now the most used rocket on the market today. I'll give you a hint, it's named after a bird. Shout out to anyone who did watch that space launch with me last week. I think it was on Wednesday. That was a lot of fun. Thursday? Wednesday. Rodolfo guesses dragon. That is close. That is very close. That is actually the name of the capsule on top that'll be sending the astronauts to the International Space Station. But the name of the rocket itself, a little tougher to get. It made history beating out the Atlas V. Watched and can't remember. I think I stumped you guys again. Want. I thought last time y'all knew too much. Answer, the Falcon 9 rocket. It's been the workhorse for SpaceX since they entered the market. And the $1,000 question. Launched in 1998, this satellite has been instrumental to scientific research around the world. It travels at over 17,000 miles per hour and orbits the Earth 15.5 times each day. Like the one that roasted people at the end of Game of Thrones. By the way, Anthony has still not seen Game of Thrones, so y'all can go ahead and let him know what you think about that in the comments. Been trying to get him to watch it, but no luck yet. Launched in 1998, this satellite has been instrumental to scientific research around the world and travels at 17,227 miles an hour and orbits the Earth 15.5 times each day. Yeah, Charlie ringing in with the right answer. Anthony also got the right answer on this one. That is the International Space Station. All right, last category, we're talking about historic storms, testing your knowledge of storms from the past. Here we go. The most active hurricane season in recorded history this year featured 27 named storms, a record 15 hurricanes, and 7 major hurricanes. I'll give you a hint. It's been in this century. What year was this? Most active Atlantic hurricane season in recorded history. Whoops. I knew that there was going to be a typo in here somewhere. That always seems to happen when you're dealing with the PowerPoint with 40-something slides. This year featured 27 named storms, a record 15 hurricanes, and 7 major hurricanes. Here's the category where I can shine. 1979, the year you were born? Nope. Charlie, 2017. That was an active one, but not the most active. Good guess. Paige, 2004. You are very, very close, Paige. You need to meet Anthony. When all this is over, come down to Midland. 2005, Anthony ringing in the correct answer. That was a busy year. Featured hurricanes like Katrina and Wilma, and it even went so far that we went through the alphabet and had one storm named after a Greek letter. No, 2 storms, I think. 2 storms named after a Greek letter of the alphabet, if I remember correctly. So, yeah, it was a busy year. $400 question. At 2.6 miles, the widest tornado ever recorded formed west of Oklahoma City in 2013 in this town. How does storm naming work? The World Meteorological Organization, they plan them well in advance, and they're also in charge of the names that get retired, like Katrina, Michael, Harvey. We'll never see those hurricane names again. Where the Tiger King was? Jillian Moore. That is a close guess. In fact, they saw another strong tornado in this same year, but it was not the widest tornado ever recorded. This one was a little bit further west of Oklahoma City. Anthony, yep. I thought I might get some of you guys to say more, but the correct answer is El Reno. There's still a lot of debate over whether or not this was a EF3 or whether or not it was an EF5. I think it was an EF5. Caused EF3 damage, but strongest winds ever ever recorded by a Doppler radar for a tornado, as far as I know. The deadliest natural disaster in U.S. history took place in 1900 when a hurricane struck this coastal Texas city. Anyone with the blue check is excluded. I'm looking at you, Anthony. Paige, yeah, ding, ding, ding. Galveston, they saw extensive damage in Galveston. There's a lot of meteorological history with this hurricane, and it's just it's extremely sad when you think about it, but also shows how far the science has come in it being able to predict where these things are going, because this basically snuck up on people. They had hours of notice instead of days. So crazy to think how far we've come. Yeah, a couple of you guys saying Galveston. Tyler, Jillian, Paige was the first, so nice job, Paige. $800 question, 2 left to go. In 2012, this storm made landfall in Cuba, then it went on to become the largest Atlantic hurricane on record. And although it lost its tropical status, the storm then caused extensive damage in the northeastern United States. Specifically, New York and New Jersey really saw a lot of damage from this one. Y'all remember the name? 2012, this storm made landfall in Cuba, and then it went on to become the largest Atlantic hurricane on record. In terms of the size of its tropical storm force winds, this storm was massive. I can't remember the exact size. It was the biggest on record. And although it lost its tropical status, this storm then caused extensive damage in the northeastern United States, especially New York and New Jersey. Sandy, yeah. Tyler ringing in with that one. Also Jillian. Anthony got that one right, and so did my uncle. Although he said Katrina first, so nope. Hurricane or Superstorm Sandy, as it became known as. All right, the $1,000 question. Some of you guys might know this one. I bet you my uncle will not know this one. I know Anthony knows this one, so Anthony, be quiet. The 9th deadliest tornado in Texas history killed 30 people and injured over 100. It touched down in this small West Texas town near BALMORHEA in 1987. Where was it? Jillian guessing Pecos, Plano. I had a feeling that this one was going to be a bit of a stumper because it's not a big town. McCamey. These are all good guesses. But no one has guessed the correct answer yet. Very small town near BALMORHEA. In fact, I believe that because of this tornado, most people just moved into BALMORHEA from this. Yeah, there we go, Saragossa. I knew some of y'all would know the correct answer. But yes, that is correct. Saragossa. And it was just one of those deals where the radar coverage out there is not very good, and unless you had a way to get the warning, you had very little time to move on this thing. And some of the stories that I've read about this were just completely tragic of I think it was like a kindergarten or preschool aged kids at a church or something, and like parents shielding them. Must have just been can't even imagine. But that was the 9th deadliest tornado in state history. All right, you guys. Thank you all for tuning in. Quite a few of you ended up getting that one there in the late stages. Yeah, I hope you guys had a good time. Some of those questions I think were a little bit tougher than the last one, but hope you all had fun, especially with that weather and sports category. Thought it was kind of fun to do that and look into that. Be sure to tune in. I think on Friday night we're going to have some kind of activity to do, and then next week look for another StormTracker 9 Jeopardy kind of trivia game. Not really sure. Just kind of rolling with the punches on these ones, and hopefully y'all have fun when we do them as well. So thanks for tuning in, and have a great rest of your Wednesday night.